Former FBI Director James Comey is openly calling for the assassination of President Donald Trump on his social media pages. This all happened yesterday while President Trump was wrapping up his historic trip to the Middle East. President Donald Trump was in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and he was speaking with the leaders, and he was cutting deals, and he was bringing back trillions of dollars in new American investment for AI technology and energy. And while that was going on, while he was making America great again, while he was providing for our future, while Donald Trump was building bridges with a lot of countries that we didn't have a relationship with because of, well, the actions of prior administrations, while Donald Trump was building this new global partnership with some of the most intelligent, technologically advanced, and the wealthiest countries in the United States of America, or in the world rather, all countries that could be strategic partners for the United States. Back here at home, the deep state operative known as former FBI Director James Comey was threatening President Donald Trump's life on his social media page. It all started with this post on Instagram. Donald Trump Jr. reposted it and wrote, "Just James Comey casually calling for my dad to be murdered. This is who the Dem media worships. Demented." And the post is a photo of the beach. James Comey apparently was walking along the beach, and there was a shell formation that he came across, or he created himself. We're not really sure. And the shell formation spells out 8647. 8647. Now, James Comey added his own little caption that says, "Cool shell formation on my beach walk." This immediately rankled feathers all over the world, especially on social media, because as many people know, 86 is a term that means kill. 86 is a term that means destroy, eliminate, assassinate. You pick your favorite word for ending somebody's life, and that's what 86 means. 86, was used in the restaurant industry when a special or a particular meal is no longer available, but it comes, according to legend, from the dimensions of a grave. 8 feet by 6 feet, 8 feet long, 6 feet deep. That's how graves are dug. And if you 86 somebody, it means you want them dead. You want them in the grave. Now, James Comey, once he was called out by, well, pretty much everybody, including Don Jr. and Laura Loomer and half of the Trump administration, immediately removed the post. And he said, "I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message." They were. "I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down." This, of course, is a lie. This, of course, is a falsehood. James Comey was the director of the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. James Comey has been a prosecutor for pretty much his entire life. He worked in the LA County the prosecutor's office. This is a guy who knows gang violence and murderers and thugs and criminals. He's helped prosecute, and he's helped help to investigate crimes that have just been horrific. He knows what 86 means. If he doesn't, then he's just an idiot. But we know he's not. We know that he is a left-wing lunatic with Trump derangement syndrome who really believes that the president should be 86th or dead or murdered or assassinated, or pick your favorite synonym for killing somebody and insert it here. That's what James Comey believes. That's why he is the disgraced former FBI director. That's why he left in disgrace. That's why President Donald Trump got rid of him. This is a guy who has manipulated his position of power and his place in the world his entire life. He's manipulated it to get ahead. He's manipulated it to get what he wants. And many people believe he's manipulating it right now. And nobody believes that James Comey had no idea what 8647 meant. 86 means kill. 47 means the 47th president of the United States, President Donald Trump. Tulsi Gabbard was on Fox News with Jesse Waters, and the director of national intelligence said, absolutely, this guy knew exactly what he was doing, and there will be consequences.
Tulsi Gabbard's the director of national intelligence. Are you buying that the former FBI director didn't know what 86 Trump meant?
Absolutely not, Jesse. That is a ridiculous and insane statement to make, certainly within this context, but especially coming from a guy who's the former director of the FBI, a guy who spent most of his career prosecuting mobsters and gangsters, people who know and execute other humans and use this exact lingo of 86. Comey himself admitted in his follow-on message that he knew that this was a political statement. Well, the only reason he knew that, Jesse, was because a little over a month ago, a bunch of anti-Trump, anti-Elon Musk protesters were proliferating the use of this 8647 slogan, which was a veiled call to action to murder the sitting president of the United States. So for Comey to think that we, the American people, are so stupid as to think that he, as a former FBI director, former prosecutor, and someone who clearly pays attention to what's going on, would believe his lie that he didn't know what this actually was calling for. The dangerousness of this, Jesse, cannot be underestimated. When we have 2 assassination attempts on the president's life, when we have people who look to guys like Comey, who've been celebrated by MSNBC and the Democratic lead and CNN as the beacon of integrity, the law and order guy, the guy who would tell the truth no matter what the consequences. This is the guy who's issuing a hit on President Trump, the president that the American people voted for. So it's guys like Comey and others who call the president the modern day Nazi, people who are in great positions of influence, who are saying that President Trump poses an existential threat to our country. These are people who hate democracy and hate the American people because they cannot stand that the people overwhelmingly chose to elect Donald Trump and send him back to the White House. So they are seeking other means to get their way and to try to remove him from that position.
That is Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, with a great explanation of exactly what's going on. James Comey is heralded by the left. He is heralded as this beacon of law and order. He is held high on a pedestal, not just because he's like 7 feet tall, but because they love him. They love that Donald Trump fired him. They love that he spoke out against President Donald Trump. They love that he kept pages and pages, copious notes of his meetings with President Donald Trump so that he could try to manipulate him or threaten him or blackmail him in the future. None of it worked. It all failed. But the left has embraced him. And as a result, James Comey has embraced the left, and he's feeding into their frenzy. And what that means is if he sees a rock formation on the beach, or if he creates it himself, and that says, kill the president, assassinate Trump, he's going to post it on social media looking for clout. Well, he got a lot more than he bargained for. His good friends at MSNBC, and I know that this clip that I'm about to play is not directly from the White House, but it is pertinent to a situation that involves the president of the United States himself. Tulsi Gabbard, being the DNI, can tell us exactly what the thoughts of the administration are on the Comey situation. But when people ask why this threat, why now, I want you to listen to, what's his name? You know, the guy from MSNBC. I don't even really, Willie Geist, and I don't know who this other guy is, but listen to what they say about James Comey and why he would do this on his Instagram page.
47, took a photo, posted it, didn't realize it would be interpreted as a call to violence. Of course, President Trump survived that assassination attempt last summer. There was another assassination plot against him not long after. Some people, you could make the case, are arguing here in bad faith because of the way the president and others feel about James Comey. But how do you see this playing out?
Well, we should remind DNI Gabbard, of course, that Comey would have to be convicted before he went to prison. I mean, look, this is a stupid thing that he did, clearly. I think there's certainly a lot of faux outrage here. But to be fair, if it had gone the other way and then someone had posted 8646 about President Biden, there would be some on the left who would be angry as well. We heard from FBI Director Kash Patel that they're going to be investigating it. You already read a number of Trump officials who said they would as well. It's hard to know whether or not there'll be a there. I mean, Comey took the post down immediately. He apologized. It is still surprising to me that he is so disliked on the right, considering the role he helped play in Donald Trump's original election in 2016. But this is certainly, for those, in Magosphere who want to talk about something else, who want to be angry about something, James Comey provided a convenient target for them right now, and they're happy to do it. We should also note that after this, Willie, this brouhaha with the social media post, Comey went back on social media later today to promote his new book, which is coming out in the next few weeks.
All right, we'll see where this goes from here.
He's got a book coming out. Look at that. Conveniently, James Comey, who nobody heard about or nobody thought about in months, probably even over a year. James Comey, who left the FBI and went right into obscurity. James Comey, who has been kind of MIA for at least 365 days, has a book coming out. And wouldn't you know it, on the eve of the release of his new, I don't even know what it's about. I didn't even know he could read. But James Comey, on the eve of his book release, drums up an amazing amount of free publicity for his social media platforms by threatening to kill the president of the United States. This can't stand. If this is allowed, then every former left-wing lunatic who has a book coming out is going to try to threaten the life of President Donald Trump so that they can drum up some free publicity and they can try to, they can try to make some bank on book sales. Jake Tapper will probably be next. Now, in the meantime, we did talk about how President Donald Trump has had such a successful trip to the UAE, and we would be remiss if we didn't end on a happy note. President Donald Trump went to 3 countries in 4 days and brought back trillions and trillions of dollars, not to mention amazing new relationships that are going to help build back the United States of America in a way we never thought possible. Well, some of us did, but most people didn't. Here he is recapping a little bit of exactly what happened, not just in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, but also in the United Arab Emirates.
People have said they've never seen anything like's taken place over the last 4 days in terms of investment, in terms of the kind of money coming back into the United States. And all that money, the money is a nice word, but it's really jobs. We have jobs that are at a level that we very soon will not be able to, nobody can duplicate it. And people want to be our partner. They want to be investing in the United States. And they weren't doing that. They weren't happy with the United States for a pretty long period of time. So we've done something that I'm very proud of.
And we are all very proud of it, and we should be proud of it because it's an exciting future for the United States of America to have all of these countries come together.
We just reached a fantastic trade deal, as you know, with the United Kingdom, which was wonderful. And we have another big one that we just reached with China. The China deal is a very big deal. It's in the process of continuing to be formed. But they wanted to make that deal very badly. And we have, at the same time, 150 countries that want to make a deal, but you're not able to see that many countries. So at a certain point over the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think Scott and Howard will be sending letters out essentially telling people, it would be very fair, but we'll be telling people what they'll be paying to do business in the United States. So essentially be paying to be doing business in the United States. I guess you could say they could appeal it, but for the most part, I think we're going to be very fair. But it's not possible to meet the number of people that want to see us. And but this was coming to UAE was very important. Coming to Saudi Arabia and Qatar was very important to me because of personal relationships that I had, maybe more than anything else.
And now he has those personal relationships, and those personal relationships are going to lead to business relationships, and those business relationships are going to lead to something super beneficial for the United States of America, especially when you look forward to technology. And President Donald Trump is on he knows the technological advances that we have in the United States. He knows what the United States is capable of, and he knows what's going to drive the future of our financial dominance. And it's AI, and AI requires a lot of technology and a lot of energy, and they have both in that area of the world. And that is one of the things that that's one of the things that Howard Lutnick mentioned when they were talking yesterday in the UAE with the leaders about how this great partnership is going to succeed.
The AI industrial revolution is coming to the world, and it needs power. And so our focus is going to be to dramatically increase the power production in America. We're going to bring our partners with us. We're going to do it together, and we're going to try to double the power capacity of the United States of America under your leadership. So
and President Donald Trump he knows too that with this kind of power, with this kind of industrial revolution, this technological industrial revolution, comes a lot of great things, not just for the U.S., not just for the Arab nations, but also for places that have been left behind, that have been bombed into oblivion, places that are the opposite of Dubai and Qatar and Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, all these amazing bastions of wealth and these amazing, glorious, mantles to capitalism. Places like, for example, Gaza. And President Donald Trump is again doubling down on his desired investment in Gaza.
We're going to handle a couple of situations that you have here. We have some very serious situations, and we're looking at Gaza. And we got to get that taken care of. A lot of people are starving. There's a lot of bad things going on.
With this kind of a coalition that President Donald Trump is putting together, with this kind of grouping, with these countries, with this involvement, with this technological advancement, with this energy independence, and with this massive investment, there's no problem that can't be solved. Gaza can be solved. The refugees can be solved. Iran can be solved. A deal can be made and will be made soon with Iran. The nuclear capabilities of Iran will no longer be a question, and the funding of terrorist organizations like ISIS and the Houthis and Hamas and Hezbollah by Iran will cease. All of that will end because of what Donald Trump is doing, including this 4-day trip, which again has been one of the most important and one of the most successful that any president has ever taken anywhere in the world. And while that's going on, the Democrats devolve even further because they can't handle what President Donald Trump has done. They can't handle that he's delivering on his promises. They can't handle that he's undoing all of the things that they did to bring themselves more power, more money, and more corruption. And they're so distraught by it that they're threatening his life and calling for his assassination. There's a lot more going on with this story and other stories, and we're going to cover all of those in my second podcast, Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. Every day we do 2 podcasts, this one and Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. If you haven't yet watched it live, you can do so at 1 p.m. We live stream on all of these fantastic platforms. Or if you prefer, you can download it and listen to it at any time on your favorite podcast platform, including Spotify and iTunes. Simply search for Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. Download, listen, and enjoy.